The attendant spirit habited like a shepherd. But hallow I should know, what are you? Speak, come not too near, you fall on iron stakes else. What voice is that, my young lord? Speak again. O brother, 'tis my father's shepherd, sure. Dirces, whose artful strains have oft delayed the huddling brook to hear his madrigal, and sweetened every musk rose of the dale. How camest thou here, good swain? Hath any ram slipped from the fold, or young kid lost his dam, or straggling wether the pent flock forsook? How couldst thou find this dark sequestered nook? O my loved master's heir and his next joy, I came not here on such a trivial toy as a strayed ewe, or to pursue the stealth of pilfering wolf. Not all the fleecy wealth that doth enrich these downs is worth a thought to this my errand, and the care it brought. But O my virgin lady, where is she? How chanced she is not in your company? To tell thee sadly, shepherd, without blame or our neglect, we lost her as we came. Ay, me unhappy, then my fears are true. What fears, good Thrices? Prithee briefly show. I'll tell ye, 'tis not vain or fabulous, though so esteemed by shallow ignorance, that the sage poets, taught by the heavenly muse, storied of old in high immortal verse, of dire chimeras and enchanted isles, and rifted rocks whose entrance leads to hell, for such there be, but unbelief is blind. Within the navel of this hideous wood, immured in cypress shades, a sorcerer dwells, of Bacchus and of Circe born, great Comus, deep skilled in all his mother's witcheries. And here to every thirsty wanderer by sly enticement gives his baneful cup, with many murmurs mixed, whose pleasing poison the visage quite transforms of him that drinks in the inglorious likeness of a beast, fixes instead unmoulding reason's mintage, charactered in the face. This have I learnt, tending my flocks hard by I' the hilly crofts that brow this bottom glade, whence night by night he and his monstrous rout are heard to howl like stabled wolves or tigers at their prey, doing abhorred rites to Hecate in their obscured haunts of inmost bowers. Yet have they many baits and guileful spells to inveigle and invite the unwary sense of them that pass unweeting by the way. This evening late by then the chewing flocks had ta'en their supper on the savory herb of not grass dew besprent, and were in fold. I sat me down to watch upon a bank with ivy canopied and interwove with flaunting honeysuckle, and began, wrapped in a pleasing fit of melancholy, to meditate my rural minstrelsy, till fancy had her fill. But ere a close, the wonted roar was up amidst the woods, and filled the air with barbarous dissonance, at which I ceased, and listened them a while, till an unusual stop of sudden silence gave respite to the drowsy frighted steeds, that draw the litter of close-curtained sleep. At last a soft and solemn breathing sound rose like a steam of rich distilled perfumes, and stole upon the air, that even silence was took, ere she was ware, and wished she might deny her nature, and be never more, still to be so displaced. I was all ear, and took in strains that might create a soul under the ribs of death. But ere long, too well I did perceive it was the voice of my most honoured lady, your dear sister. Amazed I stood, harrowed with grief and fear, and oh, poor hapless nightingale, thought I, how sweet thou sing'st, how near the deadly snare. Then down the lawns I ran with headlong haste, through paths and turnings often trod by day, till guided by mine ear I found the place where that damned wizard hid in sly disguise, for so by certain signs I knew, had met already ere my best speed could prevent. The aidless innocent lady his wished prey, who gently asked if he had seen such too, supposing him some neighbour villager, Longer I durst not stay, but soon I guessed ye were the two she meant. With that I sprung into swift flight till I had found you here, but further know I not. O night and shades, how are ye joined with hell in triple knot? Against the unarmed weakness of one virgin alone, and helpless, is this the confidence you gave me, brother? Yes, and keep it still. Lean on it safely. Not a period shall be unsaid for me, against the threats of malice or of sorcery, or that power which erring men call chance. This I hold firm. Virtue may be assailed, but never hurt. Surprised by unjust force, but not enthralled. Yea, even that which mischief meant most harm, shall in the happy trial prove most glory. But evil on itself shall back recoil, and mix no more with goodness. When at last gathered like scum, and settled to itself, it shall be in eternal restless change, self-fed and self-consumed. If this fail, the pillared firmament is rottenness, and earth's base built on stubble. But come, let's on. Against the opposing will and arm of heaven may never this just sword be lifted up. But for that damned magician, let him be girt with all the grisly legions that troop under the sooty flag of Archaon, harpies and hydras, or all the monstrous forms twixt Africa and Ind. I'll find him out, and force him to restore his purchase back, or drag him by the curls to a foul death, cursed as his life. Alas, good venturous youth, I love thy courage yet, and bold emprise, but here thy sword can do thee little stead. Far other arms and other weapons must be those that quell the might of hellish charms. He with his bare wand can unthread thy joints, and crumble all thy sinews. Why, prithee, shepherd, how durst thou then thyself approach so near, as to make this relation? Care and utmost shifts, how to secure the lady from surprisal, brought to my mind a certain shepherd lad of small regard to see too, yet well skilled in every virtuous plant and healing herb that spreads her verdant leaf to the morning ray. He loved me well, and oft would beg me sing, which when I did, he on the tender grass would sit and hearken even to ecstasy, and in requital ope his leathern scrip, and show me simples of 1,000 names, telling their strange and vigorous faculties. Amongst the rest, a small unsightly root, but of divine effect, he called me out. The leaf was darkish, and had prickles on it, but in another country, as he said, bore a bright golden flower, but not in this soil. Unknown and like esteemed, and the dull swain treads on it daily with his clouted shoon. And yet more medicinal is it than that moly that Hermes once to wise Ulysses gave. He called it Hamony, and gave it me, and bade me keep it as of sovereign use against all enchantments, mildew, blast, or damp, or ghastly fury's apparition. I pursed it up, but little reckoning made, till now that this extremity compelled, but now I find it true. For by this means I knew the foul enchanter, though disguised, entered the very lime twigs of his spells, and yet came off. If you have this about you, as I will give you when we go, you may boldly assault the necromancer's hall, where if he be with dauntless hardihood and brandished blade, rush on him, break his glass, and shed the luscious liquor on the ground. But seize his wand, though he and his cursed crew fierce sign of battle make and menace high, or like the sons of Vulcan vomit smoke, yet will they soon retire if he but shrink. Thyrsis, lead on apace, I'll follow thee, and some good angel bear a shield before us.